So basically, I guess for today, we're just gonna talk about just sort of like what stink bugs are, why they show up, why they get in your house, kind of a deal. What kind of weather would tend to make them active, and if somebody wants to go about controlling them, what the best steps for that would be.
Okay. Well, the stink bug I think you're referring to is one that showed up in Michigan about 12 or so years ago. It's called the brown marmorated stink bug, and you can ID one by they have little white bands on their antennae. And this bug showed up in the United States, I want to say maybe 20 years ago out east. I think it was first found in Allentown, Pennsylvania, if I'm not mistaken. And from there, it spread pretty much throughout the eastern United States. And this is an important plant pest. It attacks tree fruit and other fruits and vegetables. So it's just not a nuisance around the house because it likes to spend the winter in our homes, but this is a serious plant pest as well. So the life cycle is sort of, it spends the summer, there may be 3 or 4 generations in the summer, feeding on a number of different plant hosts. It has a fairly wide host range. Then in the fall, as temperatures cool, it begins to congregate on homes. And if it can find a way in, and then in they come. And people then get to enjoy their company pretty much all winter long. So as it warms in the spring, then they become, they would like to, return to outside, find a mate, lay eggs, and then those adults will probably die, and then the next generation will feed on whatever plant that they happen to be on. And then in the fall, the whole thing starts over again for those home invading members of that population.
So if you're finding these bugs either in your house or maybe attacking your garden, what would you recommend to help fend them off?
Well, there's certainly, the sprays can be applied to the outside of the house where large congregations are observed in the fall of the year, and you can kill them that way. And then, some of these, and then there are products can be. If there's not too many of them, you can just pick them off and throw them into a little cup of soapy water, and that would take care of them. But if you're seeing large numbers, then you might consider an insecticide spray. And I would just want to warn people, of course, if you decide to use an insecticide, just be sure to read and follow all the label instructions and safety precautions that are listed on the label. And make sure you use the labeled rate, and try not to spray blossoms, and protect the pollinators.
This is, I guess, kind of a question more for me. I've never observed them to have a particular smell, or at least I've never squished one. So where does the stink bug term come from?
Well, actually, they have scent glands on their back. So they do emit an odor when they're alarmed, or when they feel threatened. But they possess the stink glands, or the scent glands as they're called, and they belong to the family that's commonly known as stink bugs, because most members of that group then have those scent glands that produce an odor.
So is that something where if you find one in your house, you're kind of better off scooping it up and sending it outside and squishing it?
Yeah, you can squish it. They're fairly hard bodied. You can give them a pretty good wallop and not end up with a pile of bug guts. They're pretty sturdy insects. So you can, go ahead and give them a swat. Even if they do stink a little, it's not gonna overwhelm you, so to speak.
Thanks, Howard. I appreciate you taking some time this afternoon, and definitely some good information to pass along there.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.